Imagine that you were not standing in front of a painting, but slowly stepping into it. There is no frame, no museum, no safe distance between you and the scene. The air changes the moment you cross that invisible boundary. It becomes heavy, ancient, almost suffocating. This is not a space designed for life, but for punishment. The stone walls are tall, closed in, cold, built not to protect, but to confine. Light enters weakly from a point you cannot see, as if even hope had to slip in quietly. And before your mind can rationalize it, your body already knows this is a dangerous place. Then you see them, lions, not one, not two, but many, large, muscular, real bodies. They are not idealized. They are not decorative symbols. They are animals with weight, with force, with paws resting on the ground as if they do not need to move to assert dominance. Some are lying down. Others slowly raise their heads. One opens its mouth and reveals its teeth, not in an exaggerated roar, but in a silent warning. These are lions that are awake, aware, capable, and all of them are inside the same enclosed space as you. And then, almost at the edge of the scene, you notice a man. He is standing, with his back turned, dressed in dark clothing. His figure appears fragile compared to the mass of the lions. His hands are clasped behind his back. He does not run, he does not shrink, he does not kneel, he does not beg. He stands still, not like someone who is surrendered, but like someone who has already made an inner decision. That man is Daniel. This work is titled Daniel in the Lion's Den, and it was painted in 1890 by Britton Riviere, a British artist known for his extraordinary ability to portray animals with an almost unsettling realism. Riviere was not a religious painter in a naive or decorative sense. He was a deep student of animal behavior, anatomy, gesture, and contained tension. And precisely because of this painting is not a simple devotional image, but a psychological, symbolic, and brutally human. At the most basic level, the scene represents an episode from the book of Daniel, chapter 6. Daniel is a just and upright man, a respected official within an empire that does not share his faith. He does not conspire, he does not steal, he does not challenge the king with violence. His only crime is refusing to renounce his spiritual practice. Other men, driven by envy and unable to find any corruption in him, design an unjust yet legal law created specifically to trap him. They prohibit prayer to any god other than the king. Daniel knows the law, he knows the consequence, and still he continues to pray, not to provoke, not to draw attention, simply because stopping would mean ceasing to be who he is. That is why he is thrown into the den, not as a judicial error, but as a message. The lion's den is not a prison meant for reform. It is a final point. It is the place where those who do not bend are sent, those who do not fit, those who cannot be controlled. It is a tool of power, and here power believes it has won. But the painting does not show the attack. It shows the suspended moment. The lions are there, whole, alive, dangerous, and yet they do not attack. That is the first rupture. The artist does not remove the danger. He does not soften it. He does not turn the lions into docile creatures. On the contrary, he paints them with such realism that you can almost feel their breathing. The message is clear. Danger exists, Evil exists, the threat is real, and yet it does not dominate. Daniel is shown from behind, and this visual decision is crucial. Not seeing his face prevents you from judging him emotionally. You do not know if he is afraid. You do not know if he is doubting. You do not know if he is praying silently. That absence of information forces you to take his place. You look where he looks. You face the lions. Daniel stops being just a biblical character and becomes a psychological mirror. The hands behind his back are another powerful symbol. There is no dramatic gesture, no visible plea, no religious theatricality. There is a sober, silent, mature faith, a faith that does not need to prove itself, a faith that was decided long before entering the den. This posture conveys inner mastery, dignity, and conscious acceptance of the cost. The lions occupy the center of the composition because the world always places power, force, and intimidation at the center. Daniel is pushed to the side, almost marginal, and yet he is the one who holds the entire scene together. The contrast is brutal. Muscle versus conscience, potential violence versus silent integrity. The enclosed space reinforces the sense of absolute confinement. There is no physical exit, no escape. When the external world closes completely, the only thing left open is the interior. Here, the den ceases to be a historical place and becomes a universal metaphor. Because there are people who have never seen a lion and yet live surrounded by threats, financial threats, emotional threats, social threats, internal threats. The lion, symbolically, is whatever can devour you: fear, anxiety, guilt, pressure, injustice, betrayal, a system that tightens around you. One lion would already be too much. Many lions represent the human experience of feeling cornered by life itself. Breton Riviere understood this symbolic language deeply. That is why the lions are not monsters or demons. They are real animals. The painting does not say that evil is fantastic or unreal. It says that it is part of the world. And precisely there lies the most powerful hidden message. Faith, integrity, or inner strength do not eliminate evil, but they can prevent it from consuming you. From a Christian reading, God sends an angel and shuts the mouths of the lions. But even for those who do not share that faith, the message still works on another level. Shutting the mouths of the lions can be understood as refusing to hand your mind to panic, refusing to let fear govern your decisions. Many times, the real attack happens before the problem acts, in anticipation, in anxiety, in inner collapse. The floor of the den shows remains, bones, signs that others did not survive. This matters. Daniel is not naive. He knows where he is. He knows what usually happens there. His calm does not come from ignoring danger, but from accepting that his identity does not depend on the outcome. That is one of the deepest forms of human freedom. The light in the painting is not glorious. There are no heavenly beams. There is only a minimal clarity, almost fragile. And that is profoundly honest, because real hope rarely arrives as a spectacle. It arrives as a crack, as something small that you choose not to let go. From a Christian theology, Daniel is also a figure that foreshadows Christ, the innocent accused, the righteous condemned by a corrupt system, the man cast into a place of death. This is not a forced parallel. It is a structure that repeats throughout human history. Truth unsettles power, and power responds with punishment.
But the painting does not promise a visible victory every time. It promises something more demanding, the possibility of a dignity that does not depend on survival. This work also examines the viewer. Some see it and admire the faith. Others see recklessness. Others feel discomfort. Every reaction reveals something, because the question is unavoidable. What would you do if remaining faithful to what you believe carried a real cost? How far does your integrity go when the pressure is real? That is why Daniel in the Lion's Den remains one of the most analyzed paintings in the history of religious and symbolic art. It does not speak only about Daniel. It speaks about anyone who has ever been confined, pressured, surrounded, observed, and forced to decide who they were when no external exits remained. The final message is not that the lions disappear, it is that they do not always win. They can roar, intimidate, surround, bare their teeth, and still not possess what truly matters. Because true dominance is not force, but inner posture. The den does not define the man. The lions do not define the man. What defines him is how he remains standing when everything around him expects him to fall. And the scene remains suspended, without noise, without immediate resolution, leaving a question that crosses centuries, religions, and cultures. When the door closes, when the world surrounds you, when fear shows its teeth, who are you inside the den? And that question is not answered quickly, because this painting was not meant to comfort
Rational and utilitarian society. And yet, the painting does not ridicule him or minimize him. It dignifies him. It turns him into the only truly stable point within chaos. Seen from this perspective, the lions do not only represent physical danger or divine punishment, they represent the pressure of a world that demands conformity. They represent a system that does not tolerate those who do not adapt. They represent the silent majority that watches, waits, and judges. And their number matters. They are not a single clear enemy you can face. They are many, diffuse, surrounding, like modern problems which rarely come from a single source. There is another detail that often goes unnoticed. Not all the lions are looking at Daniel. Some look elsewhere. Some seem distracted. This breaks the idea that all evil is focused directly on you. Sometimes danger is there not because it hates you, but because it simply exists, and that makes the scene even more unsettling. Daniel is not pursued by a personal will in each lion. He is surrounded by an impersonal force, just as anyone is when they come into conflict with a large, cold, automatic system. The silence of the painting is another symbol. There are no screams, no violent movement, no visual chaos. Everything is contained, and this reflects an uncomfortable truth. The most decisive moments in life are rarely loud. They do not usually come with epic music. They happen in silence, when no one applauds, when no one is watching, when only you know what you are about to lose or to preserve. In this sense, Daniel is not only a biblical character, he is an archetype. He represents the individual facing the inevitable, facing pressure, facing the possibility of being devoured, not only physically, but morally, because there are lions that do not kill the body, but destroy dignity, coherence, identity, and those are often the most dangerous ones. Here, a symbol even deeper appears. Daniel does not look upward.
He does not seek a visible supernatural escape. He does not wait for a sign. His posture suggests something more radical. Faith does not always consist in waiting for something to happen, but in remaining who you are, even if nothing happens. That is a mature spirituality, difficult, uncomfortable, but profoundly powerful. And this connects with one of the strongest hidden messages of the work. The true miracle is not surviving the den, but not becoming someone else inside it. Because there are people who leave their trials alive, but broken, resentful, empty, disconnected from themselves. Daniel, on the other hand, even before being delivered, has already won something the lions cannot touch. From a deep psychological reading, the den represents the moment when the illusion of control collapses, the instant when you realize that not everything depends on you. And it is precisely there that many people break. But Daniel represents another possibility, accepting the lack of external control without losing internal control. Not because it is easy, but because his identity was built before the crisis. That is why this painting works so powerfully today, centuries later, because we live in an era full of modern dens, social networks that judge, economies that squeeze, systems that demand constant performance, expectations that devour. And the question remains the same. What do you do when you cannot flee, when you cannot negotiate, when you cannot win by the rules of the game? The painting does not offer a technique. It does not offer a formula. It does not promise success. It offers an image, a man standing from behind, surrounded by lions, in silence. And it tells you, without words, that there is a way of being in the world that does not depend on approval, outcome, or force. That is why Daniel in the Lion's Den is not only a religious work of art, it is a reflection on conscience, power, social pressure, faith, identity, and fear. It is a painting that does not ask you to believe something specific, but to ask yourself how far your coherence goes when everything becomes adverse. And in the end, the scene remains suspended. We do not see the outcome. We do not see Daniel leave. We do not see the king repent. The artist chooses to leave you there, inside the den, because he knows something essential. The most important moment is not when the door opens, but when it is closed. Not when deliverance arrives, but when you still do not know if it will. And so, without fully resolving it, the painting gives you back to yourself, to your own lions, to your own silences, to your own dens, and it leaves floating like a held breath, one final uncomfortable and powerful truth. The world will always have lions, but not all men allow themselves to be devoured.